We had an earthquake of magnitude 4.2 striking Nebraska, southwest of Lincoln, Nebraska. And what caused this? Well, we've had a series of smaller earthquakes from Texas all the way through, up north, exactly north to Nebraska. And this is the latest earthquake to date, 4.2 magnitude. Natural occurring earthquake activity, according to U.S. Geological Survey. Most of North America east of the Rocky Mountains has infrequent earthquakes. Here and there, earthquakes are more numerous, for example, in the New Madrid seismic zone, centered on southeastern Missouri, and the Charlevoix-Camerturca seismic zone of eastern Quebec, New England, New York, Philadelphia, Wilmington urban corridor, and elsewhere. But as you notice, you see the Great Lakes there up at 1 o'clock position. That is a mantle plume that's been there since a billion years ago. There's magma under those Great Lakes, and the Lake Superior, the one on the left, top left, has magma that goes right through into the Great Plains, right where this earthquake was. And the Great Plains is stretching. At one point, Wyoming, if you could imagine, was stuck to Lake Superior a long time ago. So there's magma under those Great Plains, and that's why the continental area there is spreading. And that magma goes all the way down into Texas, going through Kansas and Nebraska, Kansas, Texas, and then swings west towards the West Coast. Now, not many geologists talk about this, but there is a mantle plume there. It's like a horseshoe-shaped mantle plume, just like the Great Lakes are. Now, earthquakes east of the Rocky Mountains, just like in this case, although less frequent than in the West, are typically felt over a much broader region than earthquakes of similar magnitude in the West. East of the Rockies, an earthquake can be felt over an area more than 10 times larger than a similar magnitude earthquake on the West Coast. It would not be unusual for a magnitude 4. Okay, this is bigger than 4.3, in eastern or central North America, to be felt by a significant percentage of the population, in many communities more than 60 miles from its source. A magnitude 5.5 earthquake in eastern or central North America might be felt by much of the population out to about 300 miles from its source. Earthquakes east of the Rockies that are centered in populated areas and large enough to cause damage are similarly likely to cause damage out to greater distances than earthquakes of the same magnitude centered in the West. Now, induced seismicity. Could this have been induced? It's pretty big. As in the case elsewhere in the world, there's evidence that some central and eastern North American earthquakes have been triggered or caused by human activity that have altered the stress conditions in Earth's crust sufficiently to induce faulting. Activities that have induced felt earthquakes in some geological environments have included impoundment of water behind dams, injection of fluid into the Earth's crust, that is hydrofracking, induced by such smaller than number of natural earthquakes. But in some regions, such as south central United States, a significant majority of the recent earthquakes are thought by many seismologists to have been human-induced. Even within areas with many human-induced earthquakes, however, the activity that seems to induce seismicity at one location may be taking place at many other locations without induced felt earthquakes. And in addition, regions with frequent induced earthquakes may also be subject to damaging earthquakes that would have occurred independently of human activity, making a strong scientific case for the causative link between particular human activity and particular sequence of earthquakes typically involves special studies devoted specifically to the question, and such investigations usually address the process by which the suspected triggering activity might have significantly altered stresses in the bedrock at the earthquake source, and the commonly address the ways in which the characteristics of the suspected human-triggered earthquake differs from characteristics of natural earthquakes in the region. Now, the population, you see those gray spots. The population in this area is not that densely populated, and only 26 people reported feeling this earthquake at the USGS site. You have a report. If you feel an earthquake, you can report it there. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. My Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.